Broadcasting live from the Albay PIO News Center, providing you the most exclusive news update from all over the province. This is News at 12. News at 12.
For the local scene, Albay honors Young Farmers Group for national appointment. The Sangguniang Panlalawigan ng Albay has recognized the Albay Young Farmers Organization Incorporated for its appointment as the agriculture representative to the Philippine Youth Development Plan External Task Force of the National Youth Commission. The recognition was formalized through a provincial resolution adopted by the provincial board, citing the organization's contributions to youth empowerment, agricultural development, and community engagement. Lawmakers said the appointment reflects the growing role of Albay's youth sector in helping shape national policies and programs for young Filipinos. The organization was also commended for promoting youth participation in agriculture, leadership development, and sustainable community initiatives that benefit young farmers and rural communities. Provincial officials said the recognition highlights Albay's continued support for youth-led organizations and celebrates the achievement of a local group representing the province in a keynote development body. Moreover, Albay honors student for International Science Olympiad Gold. The Sangguniang Panlalawigan ng Albay has commended a student of Bicol Regional Science High School for winning a gold award at the Hong Kong International Science Olympiad. Daniel James Royal Cedo was recognized through a provincial resolution for his achievement in the Secondary 2 Division of the international competition. Provincial lawmakers said his accomplishment brought pride and honor to both Albay and Philippines while showcasing the academic excellence of young Albayanos. The resolution also highlighted Cedo's dedication, talent, and hard work, as well as the quality of science education being fostered in the province. Officials say the recognition reflects the provincial government of Albay's continuing support for academic excellence and its commitment to honoring students who inspire others through outstanding achievement on the international stage. Meanwhile, TESDA to offers free services at Albay Job Fair. The Technical Education Skills Development Authority, or TESDA, will provide range of free services during the Peso Albay Job Fair 2026 on August 20 at the Albay Astrodome. Available services include free training enrollment, renewal of national certificates and certificates of competency, resume printing, pre-employment orientation, skills demonstrations, and the release of allowances to qualified TESDA beneficiaries. The job fair will also bring together local and international employers, giving job seekers direct access to employment opportunities and career development services. Organizers are encouraging applicants to bring multiple copies of their updated resumes, valid identification cards, and other supporting documents to facilitate application and access on-site services. Pre-registration for the event remains open, with hundreds of applicants already signed ahead of the job fair. Officials say the activity reflects the provincial government of Albay's continuing efforts to promote employment, skills development, and accessible government services for Albayanos seeking career opportunities. In the national scene, 4PH program expands socialized housing, strengthens consumer protection. The expanded Pambansang Pabahay para sa Pilipino 4PH program continues to raise the standards of socialized housing, including vertical or condominium type developments. The Department of Human Settlements and Urban Development said Tuesday. The agency made the statement during the topping off ceremony of Avesta Residences in Imus, Cavite, attended by DHSUD Secretary Jose Ramon Aliling, Senior Undersecretary Eduardo Robles, and Home Development Mutual Fund Pag-ibig Fund Chief Executive Officer Marilyn Acosta. Avista Residences is the first socialized housing project of Philippines World Developers Incorporated and Megawide Construction Corporation enrolled under the expanded 4PH program. Located beside the Imus City Hall within the Imus Government Complex, the project is expected to deliver 7,000 socialized condominium units by 2028. Each unit has a floor area of 27 square meters and can be figured into a 2-bedroom home. Aliling described the development as another milestone in the nationwide implementation of the expanded 4PH program, which seeks to provide more Filipino families, particularly workers, with access to affordable and decent housing. The DHSUD said previous socialized housing projects were often built in far-flung areas, resulting in a low occupancy rates among intended beneficiaries. Through projects such as Avista Residences, the expanded 4PH programs seek to provide affordable homes in strategic urban locations closer to employment opportunities, government services, and other essential facilities. Meanwhile, the DHSUD also led the 2026 interagency meeting for the anti-illegal real estate practices to strengthen coordination and consumer protection efforts. The meeting brought together representatives from various government agencies to discuss illegal land sales, double selling falsified land titles, unauthorized mortgages, misleading advertisements, unregistered contracts, illegal turnover fees, and other deceptive practices affecting home buyers, particularly low-income families and overseas Filipino workers. Participants also discussed proposal to establish an interagency task force that would create a unified complaints intake and referral system, institutionalize data sharing, and improve coordination and validation, enforcement, and prosecution. The DHSUD said the initiative seeks to build a more responsive and transparent regulatory environment and prevent illegal real estate transactions before more Filipinos fall victim to fraudulent schemes. Meanwhile, the SWD NYC to host ASEAN Youth Summit 2026. The Department of Social Welfare and Development, in partnership with the National Youth Commission, will hold the ASEAN Youth Summit 2026 on August 5 and 6 at the Philippine International Convention Center in Pasay City. The 2-day summit aims to empower young people and strengthen their skills in digital literacy, online ethics, responsible innovation, and the use of emerging technologies. The event is supported by the United Nations Development Programme and the Australian Government Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade. The SWD spokesperson, Assistant Secretary Irene Dumlao said the summit seeks to create an environment where young people can actively participate in society while becoming responsible users of artificial intelligence, new media, and other emerging technologies. The summit will also tackle challenges affecting young people, including fake news, online scams, cyberbullying, privacy concerns, and the impact of social media on mental health. Dumlao said that the SWD aims to promote digital resilience among the youth by helping them distinguish facts from misinformation, protect themselves online, understand their digital rights, and use technology responsibly and ethically. Around 300 participants, including youth leaders, institutions, development partners, and representatives from local youth sectors across ASEAN member states, are expected to attend the event. Discussions will focus on critical digital literacy, digital resilience and mental well-being, youth empowerment and digital governance, and the use of technology for advocacy and innovation. The ASEAN Youth Summit is part of the DSWD's activities as chair of the ASEAN Social Cultural Community under the Smart Youth and Innovation thematic framework. The summit is also supported by the Social Protection, Inclusion, and Gender Equality Program, the Joint SDG Fund, and the Embassy of the United States of America. And another story, COA editor flags questions use of confidential funds in DepEd. Former Commission on Audit State Auditor Roderick Wamil testified that the Department of Education reported expenses for medical and flood aid as well as incentives and travel-related costs that were outside the authorized uses of confidential funds. Wamil said the DepEd's fiscal and financial plans also failed to identify the specific confidential activities for which the funds would be used. The plans only broadly listed counter-insurgency, abuse prevention, anti-illegal activities, and anti-extremist or terrorism programs. Wamil said the DepEd did not submit lists identifying the schools, teachers, learners, communities, alleged illegal activities, or groups covered by the programs. He also testified that DepEd disbursement vouchers and liquidation reports describe the expenses as maintenance and other operating expenses instead of confidential fund expenses. Wamil explained that MOE forms part of an agency's regular operating funds, while confidential funds are intended for confidential operations. He said the DepEd's cash advances were approved by then Undersecretary for Finance Annalyn Sevilla instead of then Education Secretary Sara Duterte as agency head, which he said was contrary to the joint circular. Wamil identified Duterte's signatures on the OVP and DepEd disbursement vouchers, liquidation reports, accomplishment reports, and certifications. He said Duterte certified that the cash advances were necessary, lawful, and incurred under her direct supervision. Duterte also certified that the purposes of the cash advances had been accomplished and approved reports containing the question's expenses according to Wamil. Wamil said COA person later attempted to serve on an audit observation memorandum at the OVP office, but it was not accepted because no authorized person was available to receive it. The OVP later submitted a revised accomplishment report to the Intelligence and Confidential Fund Audit Office that same day, he added. For the news outside the country, U.S.-Iran set to resume negotiations August 3, Trump. The United States and Iran are set to resume negotiations on August 3, U.S. President Donald Trump said. Speaking to reporters aboard Air Force One on Sunday, Trump said the United States decided against carrying out a massive attack on Iran after requests from Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the United Arab Emirates and Iran. Trump said the upcoming talks would focus on reaching a possible deal, adding that the United States remains ready to act if negotiations fail. He also claimed that an agreement had been reached regarding the Strait of Hormuz, with Iran's nuclear program next on the agenda. However, Iran's Far News agency, citing a source and the country's negotiating team, reported that no agreement had been reached on resuming shipping through the Strait of Hormuz and dismissed earlier reports of such a deal as false. Meanwhile, Israeli TV Channel 12 reported that Trump agreed to cancel a planned attack on Iran after Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi accepted a compromise proposal from Qatari mediators on resuming operations through the Strait of Hormuz. Meanwhile, Ukrainian drone strikes kill 5 across Russia, hit wild berries warehouse. At least 5 people were killed in Ukrainian drone strikes across Russia, while a warehouse belonging to the e-commerce giant Wildberries was also hit and set on fire, according to Russian officials. The attacks come amid an intensifying aerial campaign by Kyiv-4 targeting Russian infrastructure and facilities linked to the country's war effort. Russian air defenses reportedly shot down 635 Ukrainian drones overnight, including over occupied Crimea and the Black and Azov Seas, according to Russia's defense ministry. Meanwhile, Ukraine's Air Force said Russia launched 133 drones at Ukraine, with 24 hitting targets. In the Samara region, Ukrainian drone struck a wild berries warehouse about 800 kilometers from the Russian-Ukrainian border, causing a fire but no reported casualties, local authorities said. The latest strike was part of a wider campaign against wild berries facilities, with more than a dozen of the retailers' depots reportedly targeted in less than 2 weeks. 2 people were also killed when a Ukrainian drone struck a residential building in Russia's Saratov region, according to the local governor. Separately, Russian attacks on the Ukraine cities of Zaporizhzhia and Kharkiv killed at least 2 people, local officials said. In a related update to our country, the House Representatives on Tuesday adopted House Resolution 1275 commending outgoing Korean Ambassador Lee Sang-hwa for his contributions to strengthen relations between the Philippines and South Korea. The resolution was introduced by Speaker Faustino Boji III, House Majority Leader Ferdinand Alexander Sandro Marcos of Ilocos Norte, and Representative Marcelino Lebanon. The measure honors Lee following the completion of his 3-year tour of duty as ambassador to the Philippines on July 9, 2026. It also recognizes President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.'s conferment on Lee of the Order of Sikatuna with the rank of Datu, Grand Cross Gold Distinction. Representative Marcos said Lee's tenure helped deepen Philippine-South Korean cooperations in areas including security, agriculture, energy, and trade. The resolution noted that the Philippines was the first Southeast Asian country to establish diplomatic relations with South Korea on March 3, 1949. It also recognizes the shared sacrifices of Filipinos and Koreans during the Korean War in defense of freedom and democratic principles. The measure credited Lee's stewardship for the formal elevation of bilateral ties into a strategic partnership through the joint declaration signed on October 7, 2024. The strategic partnership led to 10 bilateral agreements covering defense procurement, agricultural modernization, and nuclear energy infrastructure. The House also recognized expanded cooperation in security, trade, cultural exchange, and efforts to address regional and global challenges. Copies of the resolution will be transmitted to Lee and the Embassy of the Republic of Korea in Manila. That ends our news for today, August 5, 2026. We'll be back tomorrow for more news updates. Thanks to our new newsbreak writers, LJ Lorejo and Ian Buetre. And on the technical side, we have Richard Bobis. To our Provincial Information Office OAC, Marty Gonzalez, under the supervision of our Governor, Noel E. Rosal. This has been your anchor, Anessa P. Babb. Thank you for subscribing. Albay in my heart.